In this lesson, we will discuss how we may categorize the computer hardware into different types. All the computers, regardless of their types, essentially comprise of the same basic hardware. We may categorize hardware into 5 different types. Number 1, processing devices. Number 2, memory devices. Number 3, input and output devices. Number 4, storage devices. And number 5, bus interconnection. Now let's discuss what are processing devices. Now before we embark on understanding what is a processing device, it is essential to understand the process called processing. The process whereby you convert raw data into meaningful information is called processing. Processor may be called the brain of the computer as it carries out the instructions received from the user or the program. A processor is also referred to as a central processing unit or the CPU. The central processing unit or the CPU performs arithmetic and logical operations in a computer. So, the basic purpose of a processing device is to manipulate the data and to convert it into useful information. When it comes to personal computers, a processor normally consists of one or more specialized chips called microprocessors, which are made up of silicon and copper, and they are etched with many tiny electronic circuits. Now, in order to process the data, the computer passes electricity through these electronic circuits. It may be the case that a computer has more than one processor. Now the processor chip shown in this figure is the Core i7 chip. The processor is connected to a motherboard. The motherboard is the main circuit board in a computer to which your processor and all the other hardware devices are connected. The motherboard is a firm rectangle-shaped card that contains the circuitry that connects the processor to other hardware components. Internal devices in a computer such as sound cards, video cards, disk controllers may be mounted on their own circuit boards, which in turn attach to the motherboard. However, in most of the modern computers, these devices are integrated or built into a motherboard. In a personal computer, a processor may be a single chip or multiple chips mounted on a circuit board. Please bear in mind that the type of CPU normally defines the name of a computer system. For example, a Core i7 system has a Core i7 processor as its CPU. These days, the CPUs in most of the personal computers have more than one core. A core is an independent processing unit within the CPU. Earlier CPUs had a single core only. So the picture of a motherboard is shown in this figure on the right. You can see that all the important components are attached to the motherboard, including your central processing unit. Now the processors these days have their own circuit boards which attach to a special slot in the motherboard as shown in this figure. Now let's discuss what are memory devices. In a personal computer, memory is one or more sets of chips that store data or program instructions either temporarily or permanently. Memory is critical for processing in any computer. Personal computers use various types of memory, but the two most important types are called random access memory or the RAM and the read-only memory, also called ROM. These two types of memories work in very different ways and perform distinct functions. Now let's understand what is a random access memory or the RAM. The term memory is most commonly used for random access memory or the RAM. RAM may be thought of as a tabletop or an electronic scratch pad in a computer system. RAM holds the current programs and data while the CPU works with them. Now, since it is possible to read data from and write data to RAM, it is also referred to as read-write memory. RAM stores data temporarily and is volatile. What do we mean by volatile? Volatile means that RAM loses its contents when the computer is shut off or in case of power failure. RAM significantly affects the speed of a computer and it plays a vital role in processing. RAM enables a computer to perform tasks more quickly. So adding more RAM to your computer makes your computer more speedier. Now let's discuss the storage term byte. Byte is the amount of space set aside in memory to store one character or a numeral. Storage terms such as kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, and terabyte come in handy to describe memory. Modern computers may have several gigabytes of RAM. Now, like many other computer devices, RAM consists of a number of chips contained on a circuit board as shown in this figure on the right. Now let's discuss the different units of storage. The first unit is a kilobyte, which is abbreviated as KB, and its approximate value is 1000 bytes. Next is a megabyte, which is abbreviated as MB and its approximate value is 1 million bytes. The actual value in bytes is 1048576. Now let's discuss what is a gigabyte. A gigabyte is abbreviated as GB and its approximate value is 1 billion bytes and its actual value in bytes is 1073741 Next unit is a terabyte, abbreviated as TB, and its approximate value is 1 followed by 12 zeros, and the actual value in bytes is 1099511627776. Now let's discuss the second type of memory, which is the read-only memory. Read-only memory stores data on a permanent basis even when the computer is powered off. ROM contains the boot instructions of the computer. Now when you switch on your computer, the computer looks up read-only memory for instructions that help the computer in starting up. ROM also keeps the computer informed as to its various hardware components. Now let's discuss what are input and output devices. Input devices allow the user to interact with the computer system. Input devices accept data from a user. The examples of input devices are keyboard, mouse, trackpad or the touchpad of a laptop or a notebook computer, joystick, digital camera. Output devices, on the other hand, deliver the processed data to the user. The examples of output devices are monitor, printer, speaker. Some of the computer devices are both input and output devices. The examples of such devices are touch screens. A common example of a touch screen device is the automatic teller machine or the ATM. Now let's discuss what are storage devices. Storage devices hold the data and the programs permanently even when the computer has been powered off, unlike RAM, which is volatile and loses its contents when the computer is shut off. Storage has more available space than memory. You may think of storage devices as a file cabinet. Just as you have more space in a file cabinet than a tabletop, that's why storage devices have more available space than memory devices. Storage devices are slower as compared to random access memory, but they are relatively cheaper. The storage devices may be classified into magnetic storage devices, optical storage devices, and solid-state drives. The magnetic storage devices use a magnet to read and write data. The examples of magnetic storage devices are the floppy drive and the hard drive. Optical storage devices use laser to write data to and read data from the reflective surface of a CD or a DVD. The examples of optical storage devices are CD and DVD drives. CD is an abbreviation for compact disc and DVD is an abbreviation for digital versatile disc or digital video disc. So you can see a CD drive in this figure on the right. Solid-state drives use flash technology to store and retrieve data. Solid-state drives are much faster as compared to the magnetic hard drives. The solid-state drives have significantly higher cost per byte than their magnetic counterparts. Now the last type of the computer hardware is the bus interconnection. A bus is nothing but a set of parallel wires which is used to connect the different components in a computer. Every computer consists of one or more processors, memory and input-output devices. However, in order for the data to travel between these devices, some form of interconnection must exist. So, in order to fulfill this purpose, several bus interconnections exist in a computer. Now, as stated previously, a bus is nothing but a set of parallel wires that allow the data in the form of bits to travel from one component to another. Now, the main bus in a computer that connects the main components of a computer is the system bus. The system bus is further divided into data bus, address bus and control bus. We will discuss about buses and their types as we proceed further in this course. This brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you are now clear about what are the different types of computer hardware. Okay, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.